Bonjour! Bonjour!
No.
Time for bladder check. Check.
So it's a show?
It's a lifestyle.
It's a religion.
My emotions! My emotions!
I'm still French.
Ouais, c'est pas faux.
I'm a woman, Mary. I can be as contrary as I choose.
Non, moi je crois qu'il faut que vous arrêtiez d'essayer de dire des trucs.
Hello, hi, I'm Laura. I'm gonna watch Rick and Morty season 7, episode 6. Guys, the last episode, it was something like, to rethink about it now before beginning this new episode, I'm really like, they did it. They did all of that. The writers, they did all of that. They concluded these two big narrative arcs, because in fact we concluded either Morty and Rick Prime narrative arcs during the previous episode. They truly did it. And you know, if normally you're doing that at the end of a season, like it's such a big thing. But no, they did it at the middle of the season, and I think that in a way it was also the writers sending us a message that okay, it was important for these characters and all, but this show is not about that. Like, this show is not gonna end with these conclusions. This show is not about truly that mission that Rick had to find Rick Prime, to kill Rick Prime. No, it was not the case. This show is truly about these characters, and Rick's evolution is not gonna end with the death of Rick Prime. And we saw that, you know, during the final scene. The writers made all of this final scene also on purpose to show us that now that Rick had his revenge, okay, he had it, and what? What is he gonna do with his life now? How is he gonna define, you know, himself and the rest of his life? For so long, he had only that mission, that revenge on mind. So now it's truly like he's empty. He doesn't know what to do with his life anymore, and we can see him, you know, looking at his family, being happy and all, continuing their lives. And him is empty, like he is walking into this house, his home, without knowing what he can do. And at the end, you know, he's making a joke at this table, you know, with everyone eating with him. But after that, again, he has that sad face, because he's there, you know, but he's not truly present. He's only trying to be there, to be present, to continue his life. All of them, they are continuing their lives, and it's okay for them. Him is only trying for now to continue his life. So really, I think that for sure it was big, it was important to conclude these two narrative arcs, either Morty and Rick Prime, during the last episode. But to put it, you know, into the middle of the season and not at the end, it was really the writers showing us that it was something big, but it was not defining this show, and this show is not about that. This show, it's about Rick opening himself to this family, finding himself, you know, like the evolution that he had all along these seasons, the fact that little by little he opened his feelings to Morty and then to the rest of the family, that he accepted to go in therapy, that he made all of these changes after that, the relationship that he built also with his daughter and the other one. You know, like, all of that, you know, like, truly all of this show, it's about Rick building relationships with other people, with also Summer and Churry. They had big episodes only for them, for these relationships. And yes, now it's gonna be about, okay, Rick, what are you gonna do with the rest of your life? So it surprised me at first that they concluded Rick Prime narrative arc during the last episode, and now thinking about it again, I think that it was the best choice to really send that message to the viewers. Rick Prime death, it's not the end of the show. The show is not about that. The show, it's about Rick. It was cool. The last episode was so cool. You know, one of you on the comments, and I discussed, you know, with that person, one of you on the comments was like, for me, it's not Rick Prime. You know, maybe Rick Prime, in fact, killed Rick, like, we didn't see truly the end. And you don't know how many times I rewatched the scene to be sure that, yes, we saw it. Like, in fact, for me, the writers, they also made that on purpose. We saw it. We saw the moment when Rick beating him up, you know. We saw the moment when Rick Prime stopped losing and truly died. And we saw that Rick continued to beat him up, to be sure that he's never gonna come back, to be sure that it's truly the end. And also because of all of that story of revenge, like for him, it was not enough. And I think that him continuing, you know, to beat him up during that moment, it was also the moment when Rick realized that, okay, you're dead. Why isn't not making anything, you know, like why it's not changing anything into me? And that's also an interesting subject, you know, the fact that people who want revenge, people who are so focused on the revenge and stuff like that, they are not really thinking about the fact that it's not gonna bring back the person that you love. It's not gonna bring you any comfort, you know, at the end, because what Rick did, it was such, you know, a violent thing and all. It can't bring you any comfort, you know, because you did something bad, you did something so violent, and it's saying a lot also about yourself. And also, when you were focused on that idea since a long time, it ate you, you know, little by little, and in fact, you're no one and you're nothing at the end. So yes, I'm really expecting a lot, in fact, with this episode, to see Rick's mental state, you know, to see if the writers, I don't think that they're gonna talk about it right there, but I think that we're gonna have one or two little things to show us that Rick is still that empty, you know, he's still searching for things to do, how to be, stuff like that. This season so far is really cool. Like really, this season so far, it's everything that we love into Rick and Morty. Like we had an episode with all of the old friends, you know, like all of these references. We had one episode with Churry. It was so absurd, you know, it was so cool. We had one episode with Infinity and the therapist to show us that Rick changed. We had one episode with discussing, you know, about all of these subjects, about eating people, and in fact it was a discussion about eating meat or not. We had this big episode which was about big narrative arcs, and we had already the conclusion. Like really, into these 5 first episodes, they put everything that we love into Rick and Morty. So I'm really excited to discover what they prepared for the second part of the season now. We'll see, and I'm gonna see that right now. Remember that on my Patreon you have these episodes one day earlier, and you have them with an extended reaction part or with a full reaction part for big episodes. Like for the last episode, I put a full reaction part, for sure. And you have them with full opacity. And extended reaction part, I'm saying it each time, it's already interesting because I'm not forced to cut that much into it like I'm forced to do for YouTube. Don't blame me for that, like I'm really forced to make it like that. If you want really the version of the video that I wanted you guys to see, it's on my Patreon, and it's also the best way to support me if you want and if you can. And only for 1 month or for the time of Rick and Morty if you're really just interested by this one. And remember that I created an escape game, you know, that you can print at your home based on Rick and Morty. So if you want to have this escape game, you know, that you can print at your home and that you can play on your own or with some friends, you have it on my Patreon just by subscribing to my Patreon. Let's go for this episode!
Hey, Rick! Need me for any adventures?
I was talking about in which mental state we're gonna find him.
You've been saying that a while now, buddy.
Lost and drunk, back to Rick from season 1 who is almost vomiting on himself because of how drunk he is.
This stinks to high heaven, Morty. I'm not accepting these. I knew you were gonna do this, so I got receipts, bitch.
Yeah.
This is gibberish. Aisle of the Morty source.
Memory
Takes one to
planet.
know one. Make up titles for each adventure. Don't grifter, Morty. I have friends in cosmic places. Yeah, serve all Morty, cosmic all.
Are you supposed to be the writers or the viewers or the boss, you know, of us?
Oh, quit your bitching and do the audit. I got nothing to hide. Alright,
Yeah.
give me truth or dare. 2 attack patterns and a giant glowing weak spot. Legend of Zelda tutorial-ass bullshit.
Love the reference.
One of us tells only truths, the other only lies.
Oh, we know that one.
Yes, all about that. He guessed right.
I forgive you.
I was not thinking about that question.
At least this is better than cars. Cars can run you over. Wait, no, this is worse.
Clothes are wearing us. Oh, this one.
Whistler, what do you got to tag and bag these bastards? Double action triggers pumping out 1,400 kilos of holy water per square.
Okay, let's just use it.
200 feet per second. This road about 50.
I think that it's supposed to mock people who love guns too much. Or just people who love guns. I'm French, you know what I think about it.
Hey, look, Morty! I'm a leg! A leg, Morty! I'm leg Rick!
Hey, Smith, you look hungry. How about some knuckle pie?
Rick's implants!
Oh yes, I forgot!
Truck.
That moment, you know, when he transformed into a car. Oh jeez. For how long did you stay right there? Please tell me that you're not gonna finish eating him. Okay. Oh.
There's my guy. Come on, the hamster's turned on me, Morty. You gotta go.
And the friend! Okay, big dog died, but the other one? You left him right there?
Are you setting up a series of them?
Trust me, the key is grouping them with thematic connections.
I don't see the connection for
I
now.
just want to talk to Morty in private about something unrelated.
Yeah, we'll be right back.
This guy might have been kind of a mistake.
He's really, like, aggressive.
He thinks he's hosting a fucking clip show.
It's a clip episode.
How do we get rid of him?
I'll just pay the asshole and tell him he did a great job. He thinks he's hosting a fucking clip show. Fine, you caught us. We secretly think you suck. Oh, here's twice what I owe you.
He cares about money, that boy?
And I see all assholes.
And you can see yours out. Bye.
Bye. That's all.
Check hot, so hot.
Gotta start in the middle. Statistically the coolest.
All about that keto.
No.
Is that a fucking...
Yes, he's hunting you.
Give you all the fat.
I'll show you embarrassing.
Do it, Morty. It's the only way to save the universe.
How is it the only way?
To do what?
Saving the universe.
Something disgusting! And for sure that something disgusting is gonna save the universe. Oh!
As they've shamed me, so shall I now shame you.
All of them? You're drinking all by yourself?
No, I'm kidding.
That's not good at
More
all.
embarrassing for mom than me. I wasn't lying. I was going to share.
You're drinking all by yourself, you're hiding yourself to drink. It's awful.
Morty, I'm throwing out some stuff from our last couple adventures. You got any use for this diamond?
Nope, I'm good.
Come on, he's just a normal human being.
Whatever. Everyone knows I'm embarrassing.
Yes, also.
Honey snatchers have spread to Canada and Mexico, grabbing the most attractive residents and taking them God knows where. You certainly wouldn't be safe out there.
Not under here, Michael.
She's gonna go out there
I need to know.
if you're good looking.
It's okay. It's not real. They're just doing it at random.
She's good looking, Summer. Oh, my dear.
Fuck this guy.
If you can't take the heat, get out of the water.
How can you break that thing? I'm not sure.
Why don't you tee up this clip of me kicking your ass?
Oh no! I didn't know that it would be that easy.
Shit!
apparently.
We must now decide whether to end your existence.
Your Honor.
Can we find another solution?
No, this isn't gonna help our case.
Neither will this next clip.
Morty, I made you a gorilla gun. Cool.
What?
Where's your lunch money, punk? Lunch money? Are you sure you wouldn't rather have a banana?
It did not work.
I thought it would turn him into a gorilla.
Why would you want a bully to be a gorilla? Morty, this is a bully gun.
Whoa, cool!
Any questions about it?
Not really.
Yeah, should be some.
You should ask some questions always with Rick.
How are you gonna
They're all
bully?
trying to
Oh, no,
bully
you're
you.
bullied.
It was on the bully that you had to put it.
This is a gun, and I want to be really specific here. This is a gun that you only use to shoot bad people.
I had a
You
great
gave
time
him
at this
a gun.
event. Give me your money. Why don't you take this instead?
Jeffrey Dahmer?
I don't know, just run.
Okay, it's only working because of the Dahmer show.
There's nothing sacred to you two.
What are you trying for anymore? Let's have
Family?
one off.
Look, sure, we can be a referent, but when we're far from evil...
No, that's it. Now I remember how everything began, you know, Cronenberg, Jerry and all.
Churry, do you want to have fun?
Oh, first, I love your voice, and it's weird. Churry. You're supposed to be someone new. I mean, someone in real life. Wes Anderson. I think that the previous one, you know, was also supposed to be a director.
Okay, thanks, Rick. You can turn it back into a regular churro now.
What? I can't turn him back.
You don't want to keep him as a friend?
What?
He's nice, why?
My family.
Goodbye, Churry. I'll miss you.
These are just regular churros. Oh my god! My work money! I shall leave you if you let me on a barren planet!
Never intended.
I want news about Churry, and that's awful what you did to him. I'm shocked as hell.
I killed the version of us that were in Space Jam. Help me with the bodies.
Wow!
What?
They welcomed death. They wanted out, Morty.
Eh?
No, you don't get
They
it.
wanted out of Space Jam? When I was a kid, I loved that movie. I don't want to rewatch it now, to ruin that.
I only need one clip, Your Honor. If it pleases the court, hold on to your tits. I'm a leg, Morty!
Again?
You like that? Yeah, I know you do. Give me access to your tech. No.
You're gonna turn that against them.
Good copies, freshly watched. I've got Avatar 3 through 6. Family screening.
Ah, that's a good way to use your power.
We observe, it's all we do. Should we all observe what you did with Tom's wife?
No! Ah? Udo!
I'd like to observe you try.
Morty, I appreciate what
You destroyed
with the punch
a new
cards.
community, a new planet.
Thanks. Is this a stamp? Or are you gonna make me count this as my adventure?
How about we just ignore this one?
Yeah. What do you say, Rick? Like your space? Come upon something? Maybe I have a moral objection? Stuff gets messy?
Rick and Morty, we're back, baby!
Just the usual adventure.
Whoa! Another gun!
For me, it's working this episode. I'm gonna talk about it during the review.
Oh, I knew this day would come.
It's not really Churry.
Nice. Free churro.
Oh guys, I'm gonna love this one. Churry, I hated what you did to him. Like, he was your friend, he went on adventures with you, he was just nice and all, and suddenly you got bored, so you wanted for him to disappear, to not be alive anymore, and when you realized that it's not possible, you left him to die on that planet by lying to him, by saying to him that he would meet his family. It's awful what you did to Churry. I want for Churry to be back at some point, and maybe also to have his revenge. Like, that's it. That's a secondary character that I'm gonna love. You know that I was not a fan of Mr. Putty-Butt Orr during a long time because of his weird voice. But then, when I discovered, you know, the bonus episode about him, he got me. We have a lot of friends, you know, of Rick that I appreciate, but that's gonna be the first friend, former friend of Morty that I'm gonna appreciate to see again. This episode, for sure it was a clip episode, like, it's not the first time that we have that with Rick and Morty, and I think that the writers, they played also with the meta right there, like, by saying to the viewers, it's gonna be a clip episode because of these observers, like, truly the writers made this episode a clip episode and told us that it would be a clip episode because it's an observer and is only showing clips. Okay for that. I think that what can be taken, you know, out of this episode, like, it's about the fact that we began this episode with Rick being drunk, being lost, being empty, and Morty said himself that it has been entire days, weeks that he's like that, and we know why. We saw him, you know, killing Rick Prime and feeling so empty. He didn't know what to do with his life anymore, he didn't know really how to be himself anymore, and I expected a little for Rick to come back to the Rick that he was at the beginning of everything, like Rick from season 1, episode 1, being that drunk guy who was an asshole with his family and all. So to see him being back at being that person, like, remember when he had always that thing on him and he was always burping also? It has been a long time that we didn't see that Rick because Rick evolved. So beginning of this episode is back at being like that. He doesn't want to go on adventures with Morty. They have this entire episode with all of these clips showing some past adventures and what they live together, and it's finishing by being an adventure because they're going on that planet and they're condemned to die, but they manage to survive, to escape, to destroy a new community, a new planet, and at the end Rick is not drinking anymore, Rick is making peace with Morty, and Rick is going on a new adventure with Morty, and they are saying themselves that they're gonna do that, that, and that like they used to do. So it's like the writers telling us that for sure what happened with Rick Prime, killing Rick Prime, Rick is feeling empty, Rick, he needs to ask to himself a lot of questions about what is he gonna do with his life now, and for sure it disturbed him, and for sure he came back to who he was before, and that was rough. But with this episode, with spending time with Morty, he's not gonna give up on life, he's not gonna kill himself, he's not gonna come back to who he was, and he's gonna continue to go on adventures with Morty. That's it. For me, it's the writers telling us that, you know, to begin the episode like that, to finish it like that. For me, it's the writers telling us that, okay, something big happened to Rick, it's gonna be rough, but it's gonna be okay. Like, you know, during some previous seasons, we had Rick who was okay to be killed or to kill himself. So it's also reassuring to know that Rick changed enough to not have that idea anymore. In mind, you know, to not have that idea in mind anymore of being killed or killing himself. Yes, all of this episode was such a meta episode, like, to observe them, no, to watch the clips of this guy who observed them. It was only adventures that we never saw before, so it was cool, but still it was so meta, like, what is bothering me a little is the fact that Beth, we are seeing that she's drinking and she's hiding the fact that she's drinking. I'm worried about it, you know, about Beth, like, it's not the first time that I'm saying that I'm worried about her finishing like her dad, not dealing well with the entire situation, and right there I have the confirmation about it, so I'm worried about it. Summer being pretentious about how great, you know, she looks, not the first time, but you're good looking, my dear. Churry, who wants to take a diamond, you know, like, come on, like really, Churry since the beginning is the average human being, and each one of you, be honest with it, each one of you would have tried, you know, to take that diamond for yourself. It was show. Yes, Churry, I hope that we're gonna see him again. Now that's it, we have a new character who wants his revenge against our guys. Now that Rick Prime, even Morty, these narrative arcs are resolved, at least we have Churry who is gonna want his revenge against Morty. Something a little meta also about this episode, you know, when this first observer came, I was like, are you supposed to be us, the viewers? Are you supposed to be the writers? You know, someone who is always observing these guys doing their stuff. It's the viewers or the writers, and at the end it's more the writers, you know. Because us, we never saw these adventures. The fact that this observer, he wanted to make connections between these adventures, to send a message about our guys, that's what the writers are doing with all of these episodes. But at the end, he just wanted to show how bad our guys are. Some of these adventures, you know, were based on just one idea. Like, for me, all of these clips could have been, you know, one entire episode, but in fact the writers didn't want or didn't know how to really make an entire episode around one idea that they had. Like, you know, that thing about clauses declaring a war, you know, to human. At the beginning it can be a good idea, but to make an entire episode about it, woof. So really to put it right there into a clip episode, I think that it was a good call. And it's the same, you know, for a lot of things like the Zelda situation, it's a good reference, it's fun. Do you want to make an entire episode about it? No. Same for Morty, you know, and the gun situation. Yes, really, a lot of these clips were a good idea for the writers. Maybe they tried to make an episode around it, they didn't have enough stuff, in fact, to make an entire episode about it, so they kept it, you know, for the clip episode, the next clip episode. Cool, it was a nice episode. After the last one, which was really deep, you know, and really big, that was a funny one. Okay, tell me, what did you think about this episode? Tell me, what did you think about Churry? Do you want to see him again? And tell me also, what do you think about my interpretation about Rick beginning the episode like that and finishing it like that, if you think the same. And yes, it's all for you and for me for today, so it's all for me for now. So bye for now. Bye.
Wait a minute, Doc. Are you telling me that you built a time machine?
Hey.